Hey Jeff,
Hello.
how's it going?
Good.
I see that you're recording. That's great. So I can get a copy of it.
hmm
Awesome.
Okay. So I was, I opened up your mind map. I was making some content for you using
Mhm.
ChatGPT. So um, my thought process to remember was get people, get content that ranks for WordPress themes, WordPress plugins,
Right.
point that back to website maintenance. So, website maintenance is really the end goal. So WordPress themes, yeah, I started with, what are the most popular WordPress themes and why with ChatGPT. And you can just, put that in here and this is what it spits out. So I made an article with that. Started with Divi because I know that we use Divi a lot. It's the one that you use on your website. You could even say that if you wanted to, but so I used Divi, and then I went to the first, most thing in website maintenance that you're going to want to probably get people with this, which is a slow website. Uh, so uh,
Wait, so you just put in that one prompt, that one,
yeah.
these several points. Okay, so you did that and then you took Divi and then you asked it another question. What was
Yeah.
the second
So
question?
what are the most popular WordPress themes and why? Next one, why is Divi such a popular theme? Because and let me just bring you back to the content on the website because it'll make me. So the most popular WordPress themes and why, right? So if I didn't add anything, I'm just going to remove that. This is what the article would look like, which isn't a lot of content, right? It may
Yeah.
look like a lot in ChatGPT, but you want to go further, right? One sentence about Divi is not going to cut it. So then that's where that, next prompt came in. So, I want more information to put in this bullet point, right? So why is Divi such a popular theme? Spits out more content. Um, so then I went on to, how can I fix a slow Divi theme? So it puts out all this stuff. A lot of the time, I'm checking to see if you already rank for things. For example, WordPress theme, and this is something that you could probably use in your presentation because it really speaks to whether people have the SEO that they're looking for or not. You can always, step number one is usually Google for yourself, right? And hopefully you find yourself. Step number two, hopefully you Google for what you do and you eventually find yourself. But because of that algorithm layering and you visit your website a bunch, you get saved in the browsing history, you got to go incognito mode, right, to see
Mhm.
what's really going on. This site command is really kind of what people should be doing all the time to kind of tell themselves whether or not they've done this work before, whether they're ranking for that keyword already, and whether or not to like move on. It just tells you all kinds of things. So in this case,
Yeah.
I'm going to go WordPress themes, right? And we want this to show up in the title of these articles. And you can see that we have some of them in here, but but in general we don't have the best best WordPress themes, or we don't have Divi. You don't see Divi in here anywhere.
Mhm.
But any of these articles, you could use ChatGPT to add more content to them. You could
Okay.
to them into link from one art. They should all kind of internally link in some way or another, and then at least one of these pages should link back to the WordPress maintenance services, right? Because all the SEO that we're doing here, all the content we're generating, we want it all to kind of bring in leads to the WordPress maintenance service page. So we should.
So should it be going to that page or a more specific local page like Sarasota or Bellevue?
So I mean, um, that's a hard question to answer. You should just like whichever article eventually we're going to get traffic to, which you'd see in Google Analytics, you're going to want to put a link from that one to WordPress maintenance pages, right? Because you want to push this page up as much as possible. So the
Mhm.
pages that are getting traffic from Google Analytics, those are the ones you're going to want to link to this one too. From what you're saying, the tree, you can make it any way you want. You just want it to eventually end pointing to here somewhere. The
Okay.
pages that have traffic, you want to point to the other pages you want to send more traffic to. essentially.
Okay.
So,
And then in ChatGPT, where you're building up the prompts, is that eventually going to be just one article?
no, I've made many articles. You know, how many articles it turns into is kind of a hard question. So I'll just show you kind of what I've done to this point.
Okay.
So the article I really wanted to work on at the end of the day wasn't this one. You know, this is just, I needed to know which themes I'm going to kind of map out. So that, you know, led into why Divi is such a popular theme, right? From that article, I got how can I fix a slow Divi theme? And this is kind of the article I really wanted to build out, because this is straight up website maintenance and very specific, right? So yeah, in here you go, you know, why is Divi such a popular theme? How can I fix a slow Divi theme? You know, I put this all in here. So you can see user caching. That was the #1 bullet point here. So I kind of take out the bullet points now, the numbers, and then I just start to fill them all out. So, you know.
What do you mean? You start to fill, oh, you start to make them.
Yeah, instead of a bullet point, I make it a full paragraph. Like this is going to turn into a really long form article. And then at some point, we're going to split it up into smaller articles. But I'm just kind of making the super article at this point before I split it up.
Okay. Are you turning those into like H2s or something?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, you know, how can I fix a slow Divi theme? That leads into what are the most common problems with the Divi WordPress theme? So, you know, the questions I'm always asking myself are, you know, what am I talking about? Who am I talking to and why? So, you know, I kind of took a step back, you know, how can I fix a slow Divi theme? That's a what? But the question is, you know, why are you fixing a slow website? Essentially, it's because it's a common problem with Divi.
Right.
So I was just, you know, kind of generating more content to kind of fill in the gaps.
Okay.
And you can just see I keep going with that. So how can I improve user caching of Divi WordPress theme?
Okay.
Install a caching plugin. This is great because now it can link back to the plugin tree that, you know, I was brainstorming earlier, and enabling page caching. So where am I now? I've gotten through, so I'm going to go back up a little bit. So slow Divi themes, right? So I've done user caching now. Now I'm going to optimize images. For optimizing images, it's more of a general thing, and it's not a Divi specific issue.
Right.
Right. So then I tweak my question accordingly. But I also ask it, you know, what are the most popular speed plugins? You know, that's like the next thing to optimize images for your website. There's 2 ways to do it. First, you use a program like Photoshop or something and do it correctly from the get-go, or you have these optimization plugins. So,
right.
But you can just see how ChatGPT allows me to vomit out all kinds of content very, very quickly. But the main concept that you got to understand is just that if like I'm going to go back to that the site command. WordPress themes, yeah, we have like 4 articles that ranks for that. That's great. Let's go to WordPress plugins. You can see that there's no content on the website. I mean, that must be surprising to you, just given how long, you know, there's been content marketing been going on, probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's articles that mention WordPress and plugins, but not in the actual title.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can go speed plugins. So there's website maintenance pages that we built a long time ago, mention them in there. But same thing. You know, this is we can now with ChatGPT, we could easily build these out a lot. Okay. But these are actually working for you. So, but the main concept here is if you go like every single person should make a list of keywords that they find important to themselves. And then if they go cite like that, double dot in front of their website, and they search for this, if you're not getting this showing up in your titles, you have no chance of ever getting traffic. And yeah, then, you know, anything that shows up in these searches should in some way internally link to each other. You know, how you internally link, that completely is, you know, is situational, depends on the keywords, depends on the content.
Yeah, that's the second question. Is that something that you can do for me or that I have to learn how to do?
I mean, some of it I can do, but then other things are going to be more like brainstorming and, you know, how does it tie into your content marketing strategy? like the main issue really is that I'm not a writer.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of
So you're saying that I have to have my writer do the internal linking?
yeah, well, in a way, a writer is much better at internal linking than I am, because you know I could give you ideas about which internal links to do, but someone needs to write a paragraph that merges the two articles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can give
Yeah.
I can give like some internal linking ideas, and I'd be happy to do that. Like right now, I've kind of recorded my process of doing ChatGPT and moving that into a blog post on WordPress. But then the next step is going to be, you know, how do we break this down into smaller pieces, do some internal linking, start doing social media. You know, there's so many pieces, there's so many steps to this.
Have you published that blog yet?
No, I'm not at all. It's a draft.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, you know, that blog post will probably be done by the end of the week.
Okay.
But it, you know, there's already like 6 or 7 drafts in there. But you know, the here's my map right now so far. So close that. But you know, WordPress theme was my first thing, and the ones with double dots I've already created pages for. So we've got WordPress theme, you know, best WordPress themes, why Divi's popular, most common issues with Divi. So why popular, common issues, basically the same, you know, or 2 sides of the thing. And then common issues, slow Divi, and then, you know, down to WordPress plugins. I don't yet have an article for, you know, best WordPress plugins, but we've got, you know, best speed plugins, how to optimize images, and you know, this tree is just going to fill out as I keep doing the ChatGPT for each piece.
Okay. So this is a work in progress.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So once you have a couple of articles done, will you ping me and let me know so I can
Yes. Let
work on social media?
me see how close that big one is already.
Okay.
1, 2. So, and again, so let me give you an example. You know, so some of these, you know, what was the first one? User caching. I would have gone site, oops, user caching, something like that. And, you know, it did pop up how to improve your core web vitals, which is great. But, you know, the user caching is somewhere in here, not in the title. That just means, so I'm moving on, optimize images. I would have done the same thing with optimize images because I was hoping you guys had an optimize images article. No optimize image articles, right? So same thing. So I then would have made a dedicated blog post.
Well, I do have an article though.
You do? Well, then we need to optimize it because
Well,
it's up in that search.
you just did, it says right there, optimization tips and tricks. Oh, that's SEO.
It doesn't have image.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so that definitely needs
So
to
you
be on.
see, that's one of the major problems with these long form articles, right? Is you really kind of shoot yourself in the foot that way.
What do you mean?
Well, this is a super, like, look how long this article is, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I mean, this was what was.
Well, remember, so long form articles are what you want at the end, not in the beginning. In the beginning, the only keywords you're going to rank for are SEO tips, optimization tips and tricks. You're not going to rank for all these subheaders. That's where the dedicated.
I'm really confused because I thought that's what pillar article was all about.
Again, pillar article are for people that are have all the dedicated articles already. That's when it really starts to work.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to make long form articles first. I mean, I did it in this case for like a brainstorming thing, but when I publish it, I'm going to try to cut this up into as small pieces as possible, because the long form article is never going to help me to rank for the individual subheaders. I mean, it does, but it's like starting on page 8 versus page 4. It's a huge difference.
So what you're saying is, I should just be publishing a bunch of shorter articles that are more specific on questions or issues.
Absolutely. Like this one alone, you could split it up into like 20 different blog posts.
Okay. Is there like a certain number of words or like?
Well, again, so go back to what I just showed you with this, right? Transcribe your videos, right? We need to be able to go like that, and it needs to show up. So that works. Sometimes this won't even work.
But it doesn't show up in the title though. It's just
I know,
showing up in the
exactly.
meta
So
description. Yeah.
the ones in here that are important to us, and if you don't know which ones are important, then it becomes a matter of doing the keyword research on,
Yeah.
but start with the ones that are important, like,
Yeah.
like this one. I'm pretty sure we have one. So we have the improved core web vitals. We should, let's see, site.
We don't have one on optimizing the images because we just talked about it. We don't have it.
So I was looking for load speed, so I moved on.
Oh, okay.
So same thing, like, but like the website speed. Let's see if website speed shows up. But no, we should have a website speed article, and that's really surprising to me. So we're gonna have one soon when this one gets published.
Okay.
But this is the kind of thing that you can show people really quickly in a BNI meeting. I'm not sure if you have enough time in a BNI meeting, but in lead calls, it's super easy because you can
Yeah.
be like, site srqmedspa.com, right? And she has an acupuncturist, right? And I can see that she doesn't have a page on her website for acupuncture.
Yeah.
And so it's just really quickly and easily you can tell whether you rank for the keywords you are trying to rank for.
Yeah. Okay.
And this kind of shows you, where you rank. You won't know without something like Ahrefs or SEMrush. But this shows you that you're in the search engine.
Okay. The problem is you do this blindfolded. And for me, I'm a very process-oriented person. Like, it would be super helpful. Like, this overall general process that you're showing me now is very helpful. But like, are you planning this article you're planning for your website? Is it going to be kind of like step by step? Like,
no, I mean, so that's the thing is,
or is it too, it's not as easy as that. It's more like amorphous where it's like,
well, you're going to want to just make sure, well, some of this is more like image optimization, right? That is an important keyword for you.
right.
And at a bare minimum, you've got to have at least one page on your website with that in the title. So you start there.
Okay.
From there, once you finish that process, you're going to have easily, doesn't matter what business you're in, even if you do one thing, you're going to have like 20 different pages because you do the one thing, but you do it for 4 different people.
And then I could plug it.
Yeah.
And then I could plug image optimization, that keyword, into like, I don't know, Uber Suggest and come up with like titles.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't even know if you need to do that anymore because ChatGPT is going to give you a lot of title ideas. So one of the things I do not like about ChatGPT is that it loves to spit out lists like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll very often mix it up because otherwise this entire thing would just be a lot of lists.
Yeah. Yeah.
By like deleting that part. So you see faster page load times. In some cases, I would just delete that and then make this the title. Because this first sentence is always going to be an articulation of what that I just deleted was, right? Improved user experience. When your website loads quickly, visitors can navigate through the content seamlessly. That is improved user experience. In this case, I wouldn't want to delete that because that's a good keyword. But going, the one that I just did delete. Oh, no,
you'd make it an H2, like a subcategory.
Yeah. Divi has a really weird thing, or the website has a weird thing where I try to do Control Z and it doesn't work. Like
really
skipping steps. It's really frustrating. Oh well, I'll figure that out later.
Okay.
But
that sucks.
Yeah, so you can just see that a writer would be really helpful for kind of adding a little flair, not necessarily flair in here, but instead of teaching them how to do it, explaining why they want it done, and how that if you have this problem, again, like I've said this before in previous calls, if you have this problem, it probably means you have these other problems because this is something your web designer should have done. right?
Right.
So that little splurb right there is the kind of stuff where the writers need to kind of come in. And I'm trying to fill that stuff out over time using ChatGPT. It just, takes a lot of individual prompts. Like I in some cases I even Googled, gosh, I have this whole thing recorded, so I just have to go back through the recording. But I found a paragraph from a website I liked. Right, large images slow down your website, your web pages, which create a less than optimal user experience. And I'm like, can you reword it? Can you reword this?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't like the reworded version whatsoever, but that's when I'm doing this. This is kind of where the writers could really, really improve what ChatGPT gives you. ChatGPT should be meant for making outlines, not necessarily
Yeah, it's just a
for just
tool.
giving you your end product. It's not that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
But you can see how in less than 5 minutes, you could probably show the people in your BNI group yourself made like 5-10 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's a good rule of thumb? They should be publishing at least 2 new pages a month, right?
I mean, this is the way I would describe it right now. We're in a gold rush of content.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I'd be making as much content as you can because this won't last forever. Over time, and let me just look. Already, it's the case where I don't Google stuff for the most part. I go to ChatGPT first now, and I read what ChatGPT gives me, and then I do individual searches based off of what it sent me. And I don't trust ChatGPT completely because I know that it has incorrect information. But in the past, I would have to have Googled this, right? Why is optimizing images for your website so important? And I would have had to open up the first 5 links and read all 5 of them and read them and then determine based off of, after reading them, which ones I thought were the most, knowledgeable and useful. And
interesting. So you're using ChatGPT as a search engine.
Absolutely. I don't, mean, like, and it's a big problem with Google is also they don't care about whether someone is reputable or not or knowledgeable or not. You Google why and how image optimization, and you scan up the first page of results. And the reason why most of the people are there is because they have good SEO. The good SEO doesn't necessarily mean that they know what they're talking about. Like very often, a good example of this is, I don't know if you play video games or anything, but like Forbes.com is writing articles about Fortnite. You know what I mean? Because they want that SEO.
Yeah.
Not because they care about Fortnite whatsoever, not because they're
Right.
knowledgeable about the facts.
Right. That's a good point.
So the same comes here. Like you look at the top page of results, and for I don't know which one it was. I think how can you optimize your websites? Is this right? WP Engine, whatever. But the first result, you can see this was 67, 81, 85, 85, 95. You don't see anything under 50.
Yeah.
And so if you were really knowledgeable with a website and you posted some great content, it does not mean it'll reach the first page of Google. And that's where ChatGPT has a significant advantage over searches in general, is it can give you a summary. And by no means is that summary going to be perfect, but it's a general consensus on the internet of what is right first. So I didn't have
and that's not telling you where it's pulling it from. It's just giving you a synopsis, yeah.
Yeah, and less fluff too. Like, a lot of websites will fluff up their content unnecessarily. Or Neil Patel is a good example of this. Like he used to write great content, but now it's all just pointing to landing pages and it's a tease.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I was going with that exactly. Just that the whole idea of posting once a month, that's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Posting twice a month now, I would consider the bare minimum, and that's still not good enough. You should aim for, I would say, at least 50 pages on your website, and it's easy to get to 100 now.
Minimum.
Yeah, how quickly you get there depends on your resources and manpower and money. But you can see how doing that in the past was logistically difficult. And one reason why I didn't create content ahead of time without knowing it was going to work, without doing the YouTube piece first. Now it's the opposite. Now it's like we want to create all the pages on the website first, and then start strategically making videos and doing the social media on the pieces we want to get the most results on. Whereas in the past, it usually was kind of like, let's test the waters in YouTube.
Yeah.
Before we start wasting our time making content on the website that may not necessarily.
But I have hundreds of pages on my website, so that's what's baffling. Why my phone is not ringing? Like, I don't remember the last time I got a lead from Google.
Let's take a look at that for a second, because I could very quickly point out multiple examples of how to improve that. And this, you go and look at your keywords, which ones are going up and down. So why is marketing important? Down 2. But this is an easy one, right? This actually isn't that long of an article. But I need to go look at the top pages. So you can see website maintenance. We've got new keywords in here. We'll look at that. Show 100. Let's see, one that's moving company, website maintenance companies. Okay, so website maintenance. This article is just too long in general, but let's go to site. How much does website maintenance cost? We do have a dedicated article there. Good. But this content, let's see. When was this updated? Let's just go look. It was updated in 2020. You know how easy it'd be to we should just add another paragraph or 2 in here, or and that's the bar for what you needed to do in the past has just changed. So this article it performed for us in the beginning. Remember that? And it's just like we need to make some updates to it. We need to spin off some new content, maybe link to some of our case studies. Case studies would be a perfect thing to link to from this article, and even add to. We could down at the bottom we'd be like August 2021 update. We have this new Benacer client, that we did website maintenance for, and they've had this,
and then link it to the
return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
But updating, that's something that everybody forgets to do, is update old content.
Yeah.
When things lose traffic, you add more content. When it's going up, you still can sometimes add more content. There's no harm in ever adding more content.
Yeah.
As long as you're not kind of I get so that's the thing, is your titles are meant to be your what are you talking about and who you're talking to, and then the why needs to fall in the body of the content. And then sometimes you get lucky and the why, you'll start to rank for those whys, and then you make dedicated articles with the why in the title. But usually the why is where you can just extrapolate almost forever with examples, with
why?
Stories, with with images, with video, social media. That's another thing I'd recommend with a lot of your content, is there's not enough images. And I've always wanted Jeff to provide some real footage of him fixing things.
He's not gonna do that.
I know, I get that, but so for me, some of the content I've made for you, that's where I'm like, why am I doing this? Because what really needs to be done is someone needs to record themselves doing it, put a video on your website.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the Divi article, to improve the caching of your Divi WordPress theme, you can follow this step: install a caching plugin, right? Well, you could make a video of yourself doing that on a client's website in the blink of an eye. You could walk through so many of these steps. Just, again, you could show them it done on a client's website, not the setting up part of it. And you know, so many people are then going to be just like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've even found videos on Divi. Watch one of these. I don't know if it's here, but you know, how to improve the caching of the Divi WordPress theme. There's a legitimate video that comes straight from Divi. And it's like 20 minutes, it's like 15 minutes long, and it's so complicated. And I know if you show that to anybody, they'd be like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of ways to spruce up the content. But you know, ChatGPT, you can see how it's now like there's no excuse for not having the what you do and the who you do it for on your website. And then the why you do it really is where you should kind of tweak what ChatGPT gives you.
So as far as allocating your time to fingerprint, can we just come up with a plan? Like, for instance, instead of doing YouTube ads, well, they're running in the background. I mean,
Yeah, they run in the background for the most part.
instead of creating maybe new ads, maybe this month you just churn out a bunch of articles for us.
This is what I'm focused on right now. I haven't, I was supposed to publish a video to your channel today, but I decided to just schedule a podcast since I've been working on this stuff. So you have all those podcasts, remember? So
yep,
those are my backups for the time being. So I'll finish this article as soon as I can, by the end of the week.
Okay, is this just one article though? I thought you were.
Yeah, but it's going to be one article that links off to many, many other articles, right?
Okay.
This is the one I'm just spending the most time on currently, Divi. But you know, I've already created a WordPress themes page, Divi page, an optimized image page, a speed page. I'm probably going to create all these pages that you're seeing on here by the time I'm done.
Okay, so by the end of the week, I'll have several pages, and then I can spin off some social
just
media.
Some of these, like for example, like Astra and Elementor, I might not have this part of the tree on them.
Okay.
Right? Going backwards up towards website maintenance, I'm going to create all the pages going in that direction.
And then maybe next month in August or September, we can focus on the why is marketing important.
Yeah.
And do that. I mean, in the meantime, I'm trying to get more comfortable with ChatGPT. Obviously, I have a writer that can step in and do some stuff, but I mean, you're way faster at spinning these up.
Yeah, I don't mind doing the outlines. You know, I have to recommend it goes to someone else to
polish it up.
To not copy and, you know, have a completely copy and pasted thing, right?
Yeah.
It is an outline. And actually, while I was mentioning that, I talked to Lori recently, and she's actually out of school now. You know, she's a teacher, so she's interested in writing jobs if you have them.
Lori
Campana, the writer that worked on, on the website maintenance pages. Remember, e-commerce website maintenance pages, and then title, escrow title, the title company.
Vaguely.
I'll reconnect you two on email.
Okay, yeah, could you?
Yeah.
Because I definitely need more writers.
Okay.
So as far as, so when you say bring in a writer, you need someone who will associate, like write a paragraph that will be naturally a good segue to another page on the website, right?
And just go through our content and try to clean it up, you know, like, and I could happily meet with them to show them my thought process on where I think internal links should be added. And then you have to write a paragraph, you know, so that link flows now.
Well, if Lori is available and you already have a relationship with her, why don't we just do that?
Okay. All right. Well, I'll connect you with her, and we can go from there.
And then we can all three of us meet. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. All right. So just email me at the end, and then the case studies that I did send you, like the dental, SRQ. Are you eventually going to do YouTube ads on those?
Yes. I can make Facebook ads for you sooner. I just need to make the video for the case studies.
Mm-hmm.
So, Do you want some Facebook ads for those? I could have those up within the week. The videos.
I mean, if
I
they,
will-
if they work, I mean,
The
not
videos
that
the videos I was gonna get on, but now I've tabled it because of the ChatGPT stuff.
no, that's fine.
What
Just
order
keep-
do you want it
yeah,
done in? Is
Just,
essentially the
just do
question.
chat. Just
Okay,
do
I'll do
chat.
ChatGPT first, then Facebook ads, and then the YouTube was on my list of things to do before these two things.
Okay, and then real quick, you are working on Lewis and Maine, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure because he's not good at like speaking up. So I don't know like if he's met with you or
Well, no, so the main, issue at first was just that. So a lot of his SEO and his content is on his booking program, which is a problem if restaurants make all the time.
yeah.
So I've given him a ton of writing homework.
Okay.
And then in general, just he's got his social media is very, very visible. So I've been reluctant to do anything on there yet. And we also have the writing stuff to do first. The restaurants are kind of tricky clients. So
Yeah. Well, we're doing his social media.
You're doing his social media. Okay, that helps me.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah. We have someone who's doing his social media. So
okay. All right. Well, then anything related to social media, I will CC to you.
yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to you later. Can you send me this recording, please?
Yeah, I'll put it up
Okay.
right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.